Good evening. This is CTV News for this Thursday, January the 15th. I'm Sonia Shavasva.
And I'm Byron Scott. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, at a press conference today, a victim of Metro's fatal smoke incident announced that he's filing a lawsuit against the Washington Metro Transit Authority. Now, on Monday, the Yellow Line train came to a sudden stop and filled with smoke due to an electrical malfunction on the track, killing one person and sending more than 80 people to the hospital. Latifah Majid has more on the story.
Yes, that's right. Malbert Rich just got out of the hospital today, and him and his attorney are suing the Washington Metro Transit Authority tomorrow. Now, Rich was on the train Monday when it suddenly stopped and filled with a thick black smoke. He gives us a detailed description of what happened.
There was a lot of smoke, and we had been breathing it for a long time. That's when it turned a little bit, well, it was already an uncomfortable situation, but that's when it turned frightening.
Malbert Rich says that he didn't think he was going to make it off the train alive.
Throughout this process, transit police were on board also, and they were trying to talk to, I guess, Metro Command, but it was just a lot of miscommunication. Nobody could get anybody to move that one train out of the car so we could back up and then move through the cars and exit. Meanwhile, while all this was going on, the smoke that was billowing outside was starting to make its way in. And through them opening doors, coming to and fro, the passengers trying to get out, the car became more consumed with smoke.
He sent a final text message to his mother and two children, telling them he loves them and he wants them to go on with their lives.
We didn't see any way out of it. But in the process, people were going in their bags, handing out waters, passing it out to other passengers. People taking a sip, passing it to somebody you didn't know next to you.
His attorney, Kim Rodney, worked for WMATA from 1988 to 1993 as an assistant general counselor.
I defended Metro against hundreds of claims. In my office also is another attorney who used to work for Metro. And we represented the family of General David Worley and his wife Ann, both of whom perished in that awful 2009 Metro crash.
Rodney says that they're filing the lawsuit so soon to make sure that nothing like this happens again.
We don't know the cause. We don't know why there was such a slow response to an emergent situation. So that's the goal of the lawsuit, to find out what happened and to try to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Now, Kim Rodney says that she has not heard from the family of the woman that died during the Metro incident, but she has heard from 20 victims that have shown interest in taking legal action against WMATA. In Washington, D.C., I'm Latifah Majid, CTV News.
And that lawsuit will be filed in D.C. Superior Court tomorrow.
Meanwhile, Lawyers Mall in Annapolis was packed this morning with civil rights protesters in recognition of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday.
I can't help but to wonder and think that MLK would not appreciate that politicians and law enforcement, whose job is to protect and serve our communities, care more about protecting killer cops.
The coalition is planning a legislative agenda hoping to change a law that deals with the police officers' Bill of Rights.
We are supporting a legislative agenda to address the issue of police brutality. Two of the major legislative items include amending the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights that provides protections for law enforcement that undermine our ability to hold them accountable. So an example of that is that law enforcement, if they kill someone in the line of duty, they get 10 days before they're compelled to make a statement. And that's just problematic. It gives them time to come up with their story and so on. So we want reciprocality for civilians and law enforcement in the incident where someone's killed in the line of duty. And then the second major legislative item is strengthening the Civilian Review Board. Currently, the commissioner has no obligation to honor the recommendations made by the Civilian Review Board. They have no power to actually exercise disciplinary action on law enforcement.
Now, MLK was born on this day in 1929. His birthday is, of course, celebrated on the third Monday in January.
And there will also demonstrations in the nation's capital and the suburbs of Boston today in honor of King's birthday. People took to the streets to protest the killing of unarmed black men by police in Ferguson and New York City. Marchers fanned out from Mount Vernon Square Park and briefly stopped rush hour traffic on several northwest streets. Meantime, earlier this week at a press conference, state and county officials talked about law enforcement and community relations. CTV News asked whether what happened in Ferguson and New York City could happen here in Prince George's County.
I don't believe the Ferguson or New York City situation can happen here because of the hard work that's gone into the partnership building. So one of the things I was mentioning in my remarks is that, we've come a long way. There was a time when people would have put Prince George's County in the same boat as a place like Ferguson or even New York City in some regards. And so since then, there's been a lot of work where there's been no cameras, no one's seen, where community groups, police have had a steady ongoing partnership and relationship in the essence of what true community policing is, to build that relationship and trust to a point where now when incidents happen, people don't jump to the worst conclusion.
A lot of places around the country, the police department's an occupying force. The community doesn't know the police department doesn't know the community. Here, we are part of the community. So when you look at us, you see yourselves. That's what we've built over the last, well, it's been a long process, 10 years, 15 years.
Now, both McGaugh and Franklin say there is still room for progress, but they are determined to maintain the momentum.
The ACLU of Maryland is voicing concern about Governor-elect Larry Hogan's choice to head the state's Department of Homeland Security. The group sent a letter Wednesday urging the Republican to reconsider naming Thomas Hutchins to the position. Now, the former delegate and military veteran was head of the state police 10 years ago when the agency implemented a controversial surveillance program that came to light when the American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit in 2008. And according to the ACLU, state police infiltrated and tracked a number of peaceful political protest groups, actions that led to legislative hearings.
Nuns protesting the death penalty, pro-life people and others, fringe groups that were intent on disrupting the government. These were people who were just exercising their First Amendment rights, and so we are very concerned that this person would be in charge of the governor's office on Homeland Security.
Hutchins and then GOP Governor Robert Ehrlich reasoned that the surveillance was legal and necessary. A Hogan spokesperson says that the governor-elect stands by his appointment and has the utmost confidence in Hutchins. Well, Prince George's highest-ranking official receives a stellar honor. County Executive Rashawn Baker is among 8 recipients named Washingtonian of the Year today. The honorees were recognized at a luncheon held by Washingtonian magazine. This is Baker's second term in office, and I am told that he watches frequently. So if you're watching, Mr. Baker, congratulations. Congratulations.
And Mr. Baker and others, you are watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
That's right. I'm Sonia Shavaswar.